One of my favourite things about travelling is the isolation and ability to switch off from devices and the rest of the world. Rising and falling with the sun is incredibly cleansing both mentally and physically, allowing yourself to harmonise with the rhythms of nature and the world around you. Like most of you, we get caught up in the endless scrolling on devices or working on screens, and it's not until we come to places like Russell Island that we understand just how different it feels to disconnect. Now, I'd love to say that we're so zen that we didn't need our coffee in the morning, but there's some things you just can't live without. So, morning stimulants, and then off we go. Hi, I'm Duncan, and this is Sophie. And this year we've challenged ourselves to do, see, and live more. What better way to do that than start off by exploring our own backyard, the sunburnt country of Australia. This started off as a trip of a lifetime, but has quickly become a way of life. If you want to follow the highs and lows of our adventure, subscribe and we'll see you on the road. Morning routine, step 1. We've got up and watched the sunrise. Got a nice little time lapse of that hopefully. Made our coffees on the beach. I finished mine very quickly, Soph managed to make hers go a lot longer than I do.
Make it last.
And then the third thing and the most important thing is obviously, have a shower and get ready for the day. There are no showers on the island, fresh or salty. So we come to our little private pool, which is protected by the reef, and have a little swim. Because you've got to keep clean, right? It's very important, especially when you're camping. You don't want to be those smelly campers that when people come to pick you up or you get back on mainland and you just stink. So, private pool, here we are. And we've just noticed there's a bunch of these little bait fish that have obviously come in at high tide, so try and swim up and see them. There used to be a way 10 years ago when they could swim in up a channel, but that seems to have closed up, and that's obviously the coral changes a lot in 10 years and things move in and wave energy moves stuff through. It's high tide at the moment and it kind of looks like the waves come all the way in, but there's actually a little coral reef that protects this all the way around. So at low tide, it's just a little pool with coral all the way around and fish in it. So it's really nice swimming if you don't want to go out and be, smashed around by the waves, or if you're a little bit worried about sharks and don't want to be swimming out in the big blue.
Yeah.
You can very quickly see there's no sharks in this little swimming spot. Next thing to do is
Assess the water temperature.
get in the water. I'm hoping it's warm. Welcome to another beautiful morning on Russell Island. Sun's out, not many complaints. And I figured today would be a great day to do a bit of a gear / camp / island life sort of talk about some of the things that we have brought with us, why we've brought them with us, what we think of them, if they've been any good, what we wish we brought more of, and a review sort of so you know whether or not, if you're thinking about coming on an island, whether or not you should bring some of this kit with you, because I know for us, whenever we're trying to work out if we should buy something or not, it's almost impossible to work out if the reviews are legit and if it's actually a good thing to buy. So might jump into the tour and start with the old swag. Okay, the swag. Burke & Will swag, a little bit more exy than your Dunes and your other brands. We thought if we're going to be on the road for a long time, we wanted to invest in something that had a bit thicker material canvas, a little bit better brand and was going to last a bit longer rather than saving a lot of money and going for a cheap version that could wear out quickly. That's just a little bit of how we think. Potentially the Dune one would have lasted just as long, so have never had one, so not going to badmouth them. Double swag has fit me and Sophie in it pretty well. Even have room at the end for our possessions, often have camera equipment and drones and everything charging there, stuff we don't want to leave outside even in boxes, so can fit in quite comfortably even with some stuff at the back, which is really, really good. We've got mesh at the back and a zipper up mesh at the front where your head is, so you can do that all the way up and let no light in if you want, or you can have that down and let airflow through. So that's been really nice. Now we're on Russell Island and up in FNQ, and it's getting a lot hotter in the nights. Pretty cold when we're down on Fraser, partly our mistake because we were only carrying a sheet around in here with us, but if you had a good sleeping bag you'd be fine. It's got a 60 mil thick mattress in it. The only thing I will say for them is if you could get 70 mil or a little bit more, if you're going to be sleeping in it for long periods, you'd want a bit more foam, a bit more protection, because when you're lying on your side all night, you can get sore hips, or maybe that's just me getting older, I don't know. So yeah, all in all, loving the swag. It's perfect for our needs. Next stuff on the island, hugely important, is water. Without water, yeah, everything really stops, and there's no water on Russell Island, or no fresh drinking water. So for about a week, 6 days, we brought out 2 25-litre water tanks, and we're about halfway through, or we've almost finished this one now, and we've still got one in reserve. So bring plenty of fresh water if you're thinking about coming to the islands, because there is no fresh water. I think there's a tap over there that says strictly no drinking. You can risk it if you want, but we've brought 50 litres and it's looking like it'll be enough. I'll check back in at the end of the week if it's actually been enough. Moving on, big old Esky, 43-litre Dometic, cool ice 43, and that has kept our food pretty well cold for the first part of the trip. We filled it up with too much food and didn't have that much room for ice, so probably starting to get a bit warmer now, but I think if you filled up with ice and left it, didn't open it every 2 seconds like us when we constantly seem to be snacking, this would last the 5 days as recommended. So it's been a good Esky, or good, Esky's a brand, it's been a good cool box. Early days if I would recommend it over other brands, but it seems to do the job. And then getting into some more practical things, one of the most important things to bring on Russell Island for us has been this little Powertech power box. We had no idea what this was going to be like before buying it, and it came in a pretty nondescript box. I think it was a couple $100, maybe $200. We were looking at loads of different options, from deep cycle batteries with battery boxes and so on that were going to weigh a ton. This thing literally weighs, I think it's like 1.2 kilos tops, and has been powering multiple chargers for the Sony that Soph's holding now, our phones, even has a little inverter on it, so you can plug in things like your drones and other things into this and run them and charge them, which is very needed for what we do. We're on day 3 now and we've only gone down 1 bar. So this thing is operating like a champ, and I would thoroughly recommend it at the moment. This is the first trip we've used it, so God knows on longevity and use, but at the moment, this little Powertech thing has been doing a stellar job. So if you need power when you're camping and you don't want to invest thousands of bucks on a big battery box, this has been a lifesaver. Well, I'll be interested to see how quickly it goes down when I plug in the drone and run the inverter. I've given it a little try and it didn't seem to make a dent, so we'll see. We'll see if it's still going at the end of the trip, because that'll be the big test. A week running off this thing. Spoiler, the Powertech didn't make it to the end of the week. Running the inverter to charge drone batteries was the main cause of this, and we got about 3 or 4 charges before it eventually ran out. We've since bought a small 40-watt solar panel that lets you recharge the Powertech for more sustained use. The other thing, a little bit techie, maybe not needed on Russell, but when we're traveling around, it was something we wanted to invest in because we're often out of cell signal reception, and the rest. Little known fact about that is usually on your phone you'll be okay if your phone can pick up any cell towers, even if it's not your carrier, then you can still call out for the emergency services. I think there's a proper number and it's something like 112. Don't quote me on that, that's probably incorrect. But if you have no signal and no carriers, which is something that's a very real risk, especially when you're traveling around Australia because it's vast, we got one of these things, which is a little personal GPS. What's it called? The AccuSat Pocket Series. You can see I've really memorized this piece of tech. The main thing about this is knowing that it works, which you can test on the back using this little locking pin. And when you activate it, the emergency services will be called 60 seconds after via GPS, and they'll be notified to your position, and hopefully someone turns up to rescue you. So only in dire situations, you know, the thought being like if you're trapped without food and water and broken down somewhere and you've got no signal and no one's going to be coming past and you're really remote, this little thing could be the difference between surviving, not having to sit there drinking your own bodily fluids or whatever, and you know, not being picked up and even dying. So tested it, says it's working. Can't really review it until we've been put in a situation like that. So if we ever are, I'll let you know if it worked. But one of the little safety precautions that we thought, not so much on this island because we can still get a little bit of network coverage, but on remote stays and remote islands, even places in Fraser, you could use this. So another little bit of tech that we're using. Probably the last and most important, which is actually on right now, making a coffee, would be the Camp Master. Now these are sort of little, I wouldn't say cheap and nasty, but they're not expensive. They're probably about, I don't know,
$30 to $40.
30 to 40 bucks. See, Sophie knows. You sort of buy these little replaceable fuel canisters that go with it. I think we bought, you know, 4 of these or 6 of these for $9 or $11, so not very expensive. And you usually get a day or so, maybe even more, depending on how much you're using this or how many coffees you're making out of a single bottle. And we've cooked everything on this with a frying pan, and it's been chucked in the back of the Ranger, it's been bashed around, it's been bent, it's still going. Couldn't recommend it enough. Now the reason we take this everywhere is because a lot of the national parks, Russell Island included, doesn't allow open fires. Although we've seen some remnants of some open fires, we try and obey those rules. So a little Camp Master like this is essential if you're going to follow the rules, so you can heat up your water, make your coffees. So it's essential regardless if you want to make coffees. The amount of times I've pulled up somewhere, put this on the ute tray and made a coffee before going off and exploring a waterfall or something is countless. So definitely recommend these things if you're thinking between, you know, not getting one of these, a little Trangia, which some of you take on, you know, more hiking trips. For the sort of camping we do, this is perfect. Everything you bring, like most national parks, you have to take out with you. It's obvious. So bring some nice, sturdy, heavy-duty bin bags if you're coming to Russell Island. The reason it's up in a tree, and unfortunately that's not even saving it because I can still see little ants on it, are this is Australia. There are tons of insects, mainly tiny little ants on here, little like sugary ants, and they swarm anything and everything you leave out. Particularly rubbish, but mainly if you leave any food out in a bowl, the next morning you'll wake up and it'll just be black with a sea of ants. We'll try and capture if we leave something out for you so I can cut it into this, but it's insane. But definitely bring your rubbish bags. This island has been perfect from what we've seen. The only rubbish we have found is stuff that's washed up on shore. We like to leave the place exactly how we find it, and I think that's a good motto to live by when you're coming to these epically stunning national parks. Deserted islands with no one on it is come, experience it, take your stuff out with you. Probably the only thing I haven't shown you, and this is the coolest thing, I saved the best for last, is the world's best toilet. What makes this the best toilet? Well, caveat, the best national park toilet, possibly the best toilet in the world. Now, I wouldn't usually show people the toilets in national parks. If you know, you know. You know, just like this one behind me, they're usually long drops, biodegradable toilets. And the trick is, you just don't look down. Whatever you do, just don't look down, because you'll regret it if you do. So this toilet is a long drop and biodegradable, but it has one distinct difference. And I guess I kind of got to show you for you to understand. I can't really explain it. So let me take you into it to show you. I know, right? Pretty amazing. Oh, I can see the problem here. Let me flip you around and show you what I mean. That's right, look at that view. Now that is the view you have from your toilet. Quite literally can sit there and look out across the beach at the turtles swimming. And because we're all alone on this island and there's no one here, you'll actually notice that the doors have been wedged open with coral so that they stay open, you know, when you're in there, effectively. And because you're the only people on the island, that works. So we've just left the coral there. And you just sit there, take in the scenery, and you actually don't mind being on a long drop toilet at all. So that's why I nominate this for the world's best national parks toilet, because it has the world's best view and it's on a private island that you can stay on for $6 a night. So if you know a better toilet, feel free to let me know in the comments, but I think it's a strong contender.
Because of all the rain earlier on in the week, the water quality hasn't been the best. But today it's looking like the viz is cleared up enough to get out and explore. This is going to be the first real test of my new Rife spear gun, and I'm keen to see how it stacks up against previous models. No pressure, Rife, but Sophie wants some fresh fish, and like any bad workman, you know I'm gonna blame my tools if I come back empty-handed. That being said, you know my motto, any unsuccessful spearing trip is just a highly successful freedive and snorkel. And with that mindset, you'd be hard pressed to go wrong. I know it's early days to review the Rife, but I will say that it's perfectly weighted and buoyant in the water, powerful and on target. And the proof is kind of in the results on this one.
What a morning! We got up, sunrise, coffee, had a really nice stretch on the beach. So I think after sleeping in the sky for a couple of days, we can eat a little bit sore. So feeling really zen. Having a really nice, super chill morning. Went out with a snorkel with Dunc. He's caught that really cool Sweetlips fish, which is massive. He's cutting it up now, and then we're gonna get into cooking it up for lunch. Probably just some simple fish wraps. We were kind of naughty last night. We ate dinner and then didn't do the washing up. So there are ants in the bowls. So I've come down, I've brought the washing up. I'm just gonna get it real clean real quick because I am starving. We haven't eaten and I reckon it's about 2 o'clock. So then we're gonna cook up the fish, eat that, and then maybe have a lazy afternoon. Maybe go out for another spear.
Okay, it comes off the Esky. So about 50, 60, 65, 70 maybe. So that's, we'll call it 65, always go smaller. or actually you always go bigger when it's a fish you've caught. So let's go 70 centimeters. And I looked this up. It's a spotted Sweetlips. So you can see there, I don't know if I bring it around to the camera, it's got those really nice colorations on it. Huge big lips, like a chick who's had too much Botox. I think that's probably how it got its name, to be honest. You type in Sweetlips to Google and you get a lot of chicks with very big blown up lips. Should be good eating. Haven't filleted it before. These can grow up to about, I think, 75 centimeters. So this is definitely on the bigger end of what you can catch. So I'm pretty happy with it.
How is she to fillet?
Look, I'm sure she's perfectly easy to fillet. I'm doing it with a dive knife, and I'm not the best at filleting. Probably speaks to how many fish I've caught in the past. So I'm just taking it nice and slow, following along the bone because I don't know this fish, and hopefully not leaving too much fish there, but it's looking pretty good so far. Straight back and down. So getting pretty close. Whew. First fillet. That looks like it's gonna be super tasty. And even though I'm using a dodgy ass knife and not doing it properly, I think I got quite a lot of the meat off. So I'm sure a lot of spearos and fishermen will tell me I've done it completely wrong. Probably have, hold my hands up to that, but I'm still gonna really enjoy eating that. At the end of the day, that's what matters. So time to get the other one off, get the skin off that, and yeah, we're eating fish tonight, for sure, and for lunch by the looks of it. Not bad for one fish. Pretty good fillets as well. What do you reckon? Some for lunch today?
Yeah, it's way past lunchtime and I'm starving, so I'm very excited for you to cook that up. Another day, another meal, same treat.
Bit of butter. Lots of butter. There's a bit of weather coming through. Cloudy behind us. Nothing better. A bit of fresh fish. I don't think I'm going to do anything fancy with this. Just a bit of lemon. Always, and a bit of lemon afterwards as well. Then crack black pepper and salt, and that's pretty much it. And that's perfect for a wrap. Fish is looking epic. Really smells good as well. I can't wait to get into it. And we've got a sort of like do-it-yourself wrap station going here, and I can't believe this tree provides yet again. We've got little wasabi sauce spot perfectly sitting there. We've got all our little red cabbage, it's been shredded, sitting perfectly there, and the 2 bread wraps ready to go, ready to be filled. And I'm thinking, quite literally, you and I, Soph, just grab that, chuck that in, take some fish, chuck that in, add some pickled ginger, a little bit of sesame seed oil, a little bit of wasabi mignette with soy sauce, and then squeeze of lemon, and we're good to go. And I don't know, I don't think we could do any better. I think this is pretty bloody perfect. I'm very happy. I can't wait to get in. So let's stop filming and let's eat this thing.
How did that first bite taste?
It's really, really meaty. Quite a bit like, I don't know, we have like swordfish steaks or something like that. Tasty though. Well in a wrap. Voila. Got everything you need?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I could fit more in, but I always put too much in and then I can't get it in my mouth, so. Really good. That fish is quite meaty. It's really tasty and goes so well with that little sauce. It's just simple. I think now it's your turn to get into it too.
Hell yeah. Pretty good to me. Just eat it like a bowl.
This is where we see if Dunc's filled it up too much or whether it's good to go.
Perfect. What are you talking about? I could be a sandwich artiste, like one of the Subway people. That's an inside joke, because Sophie used to work at Subway, and when I was critiquing her making a sandwich, she pointed out that she was a sandwich artiste, was it?
Correct.
Sandwich artiste, but...
Years of training goes into becoming a sandwich artist, I'll have you know.
So I'm a talented non-professional. Very good, actually.
Not a bad spot.
Can't get much better than this, I'm not gonna lie. I'm loving this island. Russell Island provides in every way. Still haven't seen anyone on the island. Catch and cook, Youngbloods, eat your heart out. Not quite as an extreme, but I do follow their channel and love what they do, so feel like one of the Youngbloods right now eating this in a wrap on a beach after spearing the fish 5 minutes ago. Wow, half an hour ago, took long enough to get out of the water.
So even in poor weather, in island life, we are getting up for the sunrise, which is here and looks pretty cool. A lot different to yesterday. And here he is, getting wet for the shot.
It is very wet, but I've covered my camera with a towel, and the rain's coming in horizontally, so if I stand my back to it, I block it from getting too much on the camera because the lens has got tons of water on it. My alarm went off at 5:50, and because it was pouring with rain, I kind of went, oh, I'll sleep till 6:20 when the sun starts coming up, because there's no point when it's raining so much. And then I got Soph to pop her head out at 6:20. She goes, oh, the sunrise looks amazing. So I ran out without a t-shirt on. Sophie gave me this later. Set up my camera, and by that point, the amazing part that Sophie had just explained, where the sun was just coming out of the ocean, had kind of already happened, because I got to see it. I just didn't get any photos of it. So hopefully it still looks pretty cool, because it coming up through the clouds and all the radiant light coming off is pretty cool to watch. I definitely get your pure new day vibe from this one, because everything's like so many clouds. Brilliant. It's just white, and you got all those sort of like, I don't know, pretty cool radiated patterns. Wandering through the dense jungle of the island again. Well, the answer, or here's a clue, has to do with these bad boys. Seeing we're on a deserted island, we would have an old-fashioned treasure hunt. That way, you kind of got to work for your snacks. So Soph and I are going to take turns taking the other's snack of choice and last remaining piece of junk food on the island and hiding it somewhere. Okay, so I think one of the ground rules for this competition is you get one clue, you know, a couple ideas on where it is, some geographical markers, you know, that sort of stuff, maybe in the form of a poem. I don't know if I can do a poem, but some hints to where it might be, maybe like what sort of tree it might be in or something like that. And then any more hints other than that, and if the other person has to find it entirely for you, then there's got to be a penalty. And I'm thinking every clue is a handful of these bad boys, and then if they have to find it for you, they get at least half. So if I make it really, really hard, then I get some chippies, which is never a bad thing. Just kidding, I'm not gonna make it ridiculously hard. I'm not gonna hide them up in a tree, because I think that's a little too obvious. What I've actually done is put them in that little bird's nest fern behind me, because it almost forms the perfect little cover. So you really have to look at it, and especially when you're coming from the other direction, you can't see it at all as you come around the tree. So I think that's probably not too hard, but also not too easy. So that's where I'm gonna hide it. All I have to do now is remember where I've hidden them and get back to our campsite. And it's Soph's turn to go hide her peanut M&Ms, or my peanut M&Ms, if I'm being more specific. So I just need to remember how I got here, how I got out, and some distinguishing factors about this place so I can give her the hints. Not quite sure what I'm gonna come up with yet, but something about it being in a bird nest fern and there being a big palm overhead. I'm thinking that will probably throw her off, seeing she doesn't know plants too well, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll work on it on the way back. Back on the beach now, and I'm being careful because I know Sophie's clever to not leave too many footprints on the sand and more on the coral or the washed up coral. Therefore, she can't just follow my footsteps all the way down the beach to the location, because that would be the sort of thing that she would definitely do. So she's a sneaky one. You gotta watch him.
So I've actually hidden his peanut M&Ms in this coconut husk, because this yellow packet is going to stick out like a sore thumb and he's going to get a massive advantage. I think my chip packet is probably green and black, so total disadvantage to me. I didn't think that one through at all when I was choosing my treat, and I don't want him to have a head start. So he's probably going to be looking for something yellow, and I might just let something pop out a little bit, but by disguising it, hopefully it's not too easy for him. Let's see. All right, I think I found the perfect spot. In the coconut shell, up a tree, tied to the tree with the vines. So I was gonna leave it hanging, but I'm nervous that if there's wind in the night, then these will fall down and get washed away with the waves, and then neither of us are gonna get any peanut M&Ms. So I've tied it to the tree and I'm hoping my knots hold, but I think this yellow is sticking out too much. I'm gonna find something to cover it up. I've put some moss and wedged it inside the coconut husk. So from this angle, you can't really see anything at all, none of the yellow. And it's only really when you walk around here that you see a bit of yellow. So he's really got to look for it. I'm hoping he doesn't notice it straight away, but I also don't want to make it impossible.
Time to go and do our treasure hunt. But first, we've got to go and give each other our clues. So we're gonna find a cool spot to sit down, exchange clues, and then the hunt is on. Whoa. Okay, treasure hunt.
Yeah.
We've come into neutral territory where hopefully none of our treasures are hidden. I'll quickly recap the rules. So it's hidden somewhere on this island, somewhere in this sand spit, obviously no further than the start of the jungle. A big rustle, because obviously that would be ridiculously hard because it's dense jungle, and not to one of the islands that gets sort of submerged at high tide and is only accessible at low tide. So they're the rules. Still a big area to cover. We're going to give 3 clues, 3-ish, and then if you need more clues, it's a handful of the other person's treat. And if you need the other person to get them for you because we're running out of time, or you just give up, then it's at least half the pack. Okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
Done.
Okay, clue. And these are a little bit, you need to kind of know your plants, I guess. Surprise, surprise for me.
Yeah.
First clue. I'm in a nest, but not made by any bird. I'm under the shade of a palm that's name rhymes with bananas. And the last one is, I'm used for carrying water, amongst other things. I don't belong on this beach. If you see me, it's time to head inland.
Okay, ready for my clues?
Yep, let's do it.
So mine do rhyme.
Of course they do.
Near the jungle is where I'm bound. My shape has changed. I am now round.
My shape has changed. I am now round. Jesus, that doesn't give away much. Okay.
I rest on a tree.
A rest on a tree. Yeah.
My view, mangroves surround me.
Okay, got it. You know your clues?
Yeah, I do. I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it.
in a nest, but not a nest made by birds. So like a man-made nest, or something that maybe just looks like a nest. So I'm thinking a vessel or something that carries water amongst other things. So it could be a coconut. So I was thinking about, you know, something that we might bring to the island to carry water, but this actually contains other things as well. So is it that once I find a coconut husk, I then head inland? Potentially. Although I've seen a couple of coconuts. I reckon I might go inland here. Okay. Looks like we're going to be doing some bush bashing. So my next clue was palm tree that rhymes with banana, or banana. Dunc was saying it like banana. I have no idea about many different types of coconut trees or palm trees, except coconut palms. What rhymes with banana? Or do I just look for anything that looks like a palm tree? Banana, banana, banana. Can you give me any clues? And you're gonna have to tell me what the forfeit is of how will I distinguish what this palm tree looks like?
And you want a clue, right?
Yeah.
So
A good one, if it's gonna make me forfeit some of my snack.
okay, it's a type of palm that you would see all over the island, and it usually has a bunch of roots coming out the bottom, and it has prickly leaves. Do you have an idea now?
I don't have a visual, but I think if I see it, that's a really good description. If I just walk through this bush and see it, then I'll know what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
All right. Okay, so the palm tree that I'm looking for is found all over the island. I think he said it had like big roots or roots that go down, several roots, and the leaves are spiky. And I've just spotted cobwebs. I've just spotted a few up here that fit the bill. Let's have a look. Multiple roots are going into the ground, and I don't know if these are sharp, but yeah, okay, they are. Oh yeah, you can see on this one it's got lots of spikes. Okay, so a nest that's not made by birds, it could be man-made, or it could just be something that's like cocooning it, like in a circular shape. And something that maybe has got like a hollow center. This is so awesome. Okay, now I get a set. Oh! I found them! That's awesome! Oh, I was so worried about these because, as you can see, they're like green and black and generally like blend in with like everything else around us. I thought your clues were really, really, really hard. But actually, now that I needed a clue. And you didn't tell me what my forfeit was.
Definitely a couple of handfuls.
I just willingly accepted the clue.
Sophie's found her treasure using the most convoluted and incorrect way of getting there. Just picking up a coconut, not listening to any of the instructions. You know, coconuts, I would assume, are meant to be on a beach. So I'll show you what I was actually referring to.
What is
it's a white bucket that's washed up on shore, which is actually about 5 meters down from where you picked up the coconut randomly.
Oh, okay.
Oh well, luck strikes again. Hopefully I'm as lucky when I go looking for my treat as Sophie. But first things first.
Oh my God.
Debts need to be paid, and the first debt was you did have a clue giving you very specific details of what these trees were.
That really helped.
Just before you hit them. So I think I'm gonna take my handful.
Small handful.
A manly handful.
Yeah, right.
That's enough, yeah? Okay, now it's time for me to go and find mine. Another coconut palm, just to point out. There's another one over there. There's another one over there. Anyway, not bitter, but there's definitely lots of coconut palms on this island. I'm gonna start with the most obvious bits of it, which are mangroves, rainforest, or jungle and tree. And to the best of my knowledge, there's only 2 places on this island that have mangroves that way, and one is just there. So I might just quickly check there, unless I'm completely wrong and there's some somewhere else, which I don't know. Okay, mangroves. Mangroves number 1. Now, I don't know if there's jungle, but there is a tree behind it. So check the mangroves quickly, because that'll be the sort of thing you do. Soph would put it in water that I have to wade through. I know that's how she plays these games. And behind, we've got a tree. Maybe it's there. Let's go check it out. Mangroves, clue number 1. Well, not technically clue number 1, but the most important for me, because that's one of the most defining ones. So there's mangroves here. I don't know about things that are round, things that are bound, and we are technically close to the jungle. The only place that a big tree in the jungle has a view of it might be up here. So maybe it's in that tree looking that way. Let me get in here. It's pretty dense though. I'd be surprised if you came in here, so. Especially when spider webs hit me. Okay, so I've cut in from the beach where you can see the first lot of mangroves. And there is a pretty big tree here that would have a view of those mangroves. And it is in the rainforest. So, suspended and round, not really sure what that means, but this is hitting a lot of the clues. Really cool tree, would definitely be able to see the mangroves underneath it. Really, really cool tree with these roots. But the question I've got to ask myself is, do I see Sophie climbing through this? I'm not sure. I definitely don't see her climbing up that tree to put them in there, so I don't know if this could be the spot. Super cool roots though. Check this out. Not seeing any peanut M&Ms there, so maybe that site's a bit of a bust. But that narrows it down, because there's only one other site that I know of that's easy to get to that has mangroves, so it's got to be on the other side of the island. Only other spot that I've seen mangroves growing was when we did our jungle walk, at least at the start of our jungle walk. So I'm gonna have to be pretty bloody quick, because I'm looking at it now and the tide's coming in, so if Soph's put it here, there was definitely a time limit on me finding this, unless I wanted to get wet. Unless I'm really mistaken, this has got to be the only place. It's got to be the only place, right? Like, I can't think of anywhere else has mangroves other than these 2 places. Look at this water. And the tide's on its way in now, so any longer, I'll be getting pretty soaked. Definitely surrounded by mangroves at the moment. Jungle behind us again. Not sure about, used to be round and suspended. Or it could be in a mangrove looking over other mangroves, I don't know. Wow, you really did hide that. It's because it's so like because you see the yellow, that just neon shines out to you. I thought it was going to be in that big tree, but I should have known you wouldn't have climbed that one, because you didn't the other day. Look at that. I love how you put the moss in there just to cover this yellow up. I didn't think you'd hide it in a coconut though, but what do you mean, used to be round?
No, my shape has changed, now I'm round.
Shape has changed, now I'm round.
Because you'd be looking for a packet of M&Ms, which is
Oh, the
rectangular.
M&Ms have
Yeah.
changed. My shape has changed, I used to be round?
No, my shape has changed, now I'm round.
Now I'm round.
Yeah.
Ish.
Ish.
How good? I didn't get any hints.
I know! I was waiting for you to ask for a clue. I was thinking Dunc might share anyway. But maybe he actually won't. Far out. Oh, one.
You can have one.
That chocolate taste. Amazing.
So good. Sadly, we've come to the end of our time on Russell Island. To whoever inherits this island after us, look after her, pick up as much rubbish as you can, and yeah, enjoy it. And if anyone who's watching this comes and visits the island, of our meager subscribers, but if you do, please let us know in the comments. Please reach out, because I would love to hear what you think of this island, because I absolutely love it. And if you go spearing and catch a fish, definitely tag me, because there's some big GTs around. So if you find them, send me a photo. Until next time, Russell Island.
Yep.
Done.
It's been good. I just want to get into these snacks. I'm telling you.
We better go pack up our camp and get ready to get picked up. Okay, got a lot of stuff packed up, ready, waiting on the beach. Russell Island, you have been a dream. Catch you next time.
Once again, thanks for watching and for making it to the end, you absolute bunch of legends. Join us next week as we head to Port Douglas in what will hopefully be a slightly shorter episode.